Hello and welcome to Lockdown Beers and Rugby Chat here on Monday. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host today. What are we going to be talking about? Well, we'll be having a chat about Waikato and what they're doing ahead of the games, ahead of the Farah Palmer Cup Premiership final this weekend. We've also got the All Blacks have announced their European squad, as well as there was a media chat with Clayton Macmillan this morning that I've got the recording of. Sorry, I couldn't attend it. Work called me out of the way, but some interesting points or interesting questions were asked and replies there. So we'll go through how that's going to work a bit more with the Chiefs. Look at 58 seconds until I can crack open my beer. Yep, I'm on a Spates gold medal ale today. Look, hope you're all safe and well and getting ready to end your working day and crack open a cold one and wind down at the end of the day. We'll go through those names, but boy, oh boy, what's an interesting one that we had on the call-ups from the All Blacks for the European tour, as a couple of players head home due to family issues or to personal reasons in that one. Hello, Simon, in the live chat there. Good afternoon. Pleased to listen to your interview on SEN, NZ. Yep. Thank you, Simon. Yep, I was on Sports Entertainment NZ, or the sports radio channel here in New Zealand yesterday. Anyway, it is 5 o'clock. There we go, folks, cracking open the beer. So I was on our national sports radio show yesterday, having a chat with them about the Bunnings NPC and also the Farah Palmer Cup. So yes, thank you for having me, SENZ, and who knows, maybe I'll be back on again sometime not too far away, hopefully, talking about all of that kind of stuff, especially with this weekend. We've got the big Ranfurly Shield Challenge, haven't we, with Hawke's Bay defending the Shield against Tasman this weekend. We are in the process, haven't done quite yet, but of reaching out to both Hawke's Bay and Tasman to see if we can get some interviews with coaches or players ahead of that game this weekend. So we'll try and bring that to you folks. I won't, unfortunately, be able to make it to any of the games this coming weekend as they're all too far away. But as I say, we'll try and bring you some build-up to that Ranfurly Shield Challenge. It should be an absolute cracker. Two teams on wonderful form in that one. Interesting. Let's kick off then with those. I'll kick off with the Clayton Macmillan media call that happened this morning. A few questions for him from the media. I say I should have been there, but work called me away, so I didn't get. So I couldn't get online, unfortunately. But have been given the recording. In that one, I think you got asked who is actually going to do selection, and yes, it is going to be him. He is going to be the head coach, in very much in control, and very much a traditional head coaching role in New Zealand. But one area that he was going to expect to get help from Gatland was, look, when you're in Super Rugby, it's game after game. They come quickly, one after the other. And he says you can't necessarily always do the amount of analysis of your opponents that you'd want to do before each game. Look, and so interesting there. That Gatland will be helping with that side of things. And he said, look, we would obviously want his input into selections, but selection at the end of the day will sit with Clayton Macmillan. He was also asked around Kini Naholo, as to who has been on the Chiefs' books but has signed with the Crusaders next year. And he said that, look, one of the reasons for that was they were wanting to see. Need proof from Kinney around his fitness, because he has not played much rugby for the past few years, and one of those quite amazing, being in a moonbill a lot. And he said, that the Crusaders swooped in and got a good one there. The Chiefs apparently have made all their signings for next year already, so they didn't really have space for him either. Another player along the lines of Sever Reese, who the Chiefs would have liked to have had, but they didn't have any opportunity, or they didn't have the spaces for him when that possibility came up in that one. He also got asked about whether he will still be the Maori All Blacks coach. He says that is something that he is working out. He's figuring out at the moment. He kept it this year because he was an interim head coach, but he's going to see whether he can actually give that the amount of time that it really needs. So he's going to, we'll see whether he does carry on as the Maori All Blacks coach in that one, a team that he has been coaching for a few years now, and has got a lot of emotional interest in that one. Josh was saying, yeah, Warren Gatland has been put out to pasture, expensive pasture. Well, yes and no. I mean, the other option is to, basically sack him, I guess, and put Clayton McMillan in charge, which is going to pay off his contract. So at least you're getting something out of the money you're spending, having signed him. It's in retrospect, not the best signing in the world, with allowing him to go off and do the Lions in between. By all rumours anyway, it sounds like that's when he lost the dressing room. When he first came into the Chiefs, he was doing really, really well and got the dressing room, but lost it as his focus turned on to the Lions. So that was part of the problem that he had. And let's be honest, the Chiefs were not expected to be playing past the middle of the year. It was only COVID that made that happen. Anyway, time for a quick drink. Sorry, I'm on my own this evening, so hence have to go quiet between drinks while having someone else filling in on that one. So, it'll be so some interesting comments there. But basically, definitely a back pass role. I will point out again that myself and Boa have done did do a for your ears only show about the differences between DORs and head coaches, and pointed out who the people doing that DOR role are in the other Super Rugby franchises, because they do exist. And the Crusaders have got one, but in a different name. So have a listen to that show. You can do over at nzsportradio.com. There's a video and also a podcast available there. You'll have to be a supporter of the show. It only costs $1 a month to become a supporter. So, and it does mean that we can bring you these shows. So please do look into that one. Simon says he's wondering, with the Bay of Plenty season, is it finished now? Although they will be rearranging fixtures after this weekend. But it'll be interesting to see where will Sam Cane get any game time ahead of the Northern season, or will he not at all? He's against the idea of Sam Cane playing for a Heartland team. Yeah, look, it was rumored that he's been training with the Bay of Plenty team, but not contact training. So I don't know if that's changed recently, and quite where he's at with that one there. So we'll see how that all pans out. Simon says, look, that Warren Gatland had a contract with the Lions before the Chiefs. Yes, maybe so, but then you don't hire him at the end of the day. It did. It hasn't worked out. Let's be honest as to how that one all goes. Moving on to Farah Palmer Cup and NPC. The Waikato teams both hastily made it out of Auckland before the to change to level 3 happened. So the Farah Palmer Cup and NPC squads are now based out of Cambridge, or the ones that were based in Hamilton itself. A number of other players, obviously Waikato is bigger than that, and some of the players lived outside of Hamilton anyway, so they weren't within that one. But the ones that have moved to have moved to Cambridge, where they are isolating and have all been tested by the Waikato doctor, and they're not allowed to train or come out of isolation until they have had a negative test. So that does mean that what I'm looking for, that the Farah Palmer Cup Premiership final will go ahead this Sunday. This was like this Saturday. Some cracking games lined up. We've got that, plus also that Ranfurly Shield game straight afterwards as well. So a cracking start to the for Saturday. We've also got the Manua 2 versus Hawke's Bay one on Saturday as well. So great day of provincial rugby on Saturday with that one. And then, yeah, the other big piece of news is around Josh Lord, and AK says he's excited to see how Lord develops with the All Blacks. AK says that, whereas Joshua Scott goes, congrats on Josh Lord, but not the right selection. Really? Hope he proves me wrong. So, Joshua, let us know in the live chat, who do you think should have been selected instead of Josh Lord? Sorry, instead of Josh Lord, ahead of for the All Blacks tour of Europe. Of the USA and Europe, by the way. Scott Barrett and Patrick Tuipulotu are both returning to New Zealand as part of for family reasons, and have managed to get NYQ spots with that one. They seem to have got those rather easy, don't they? Whereas I know other sports people find it very difficult. So yes, that's clearly something going on there, but we're not going to dive into that one too deeply. We're a rugby show after all. Joshua suggests Parry Parkinson. Parry Parkinson is injured, unfortunately, so bad timing for him. So he's not available, is my understanding. So the Quinton Strange is the one that quite a few of us would have thought he would be ahead of, but I think Quinton Strange has only just come back as well. So that might also be a part of it. Clearly, Josh Lord, part of a very good Taranaki side at the moment. And boy, oh boy, they're going to miss him. Let's be honest. Two of the younger locks coming out of Taranaki. Boy, would that provincial side love to have those two players. So with gone blank, with Scott Barrett and Patrick Tuipulotu coming out. And flying out to join them will be Josh Lord and Sam Whitelock. So that means it's going to be Josh Lord, Sam Whitelock, Brady Retallick, and Tupu Va'ai in there. So four locks will be in that one. So we'll see. Josh Lord is rake thin for his height. It's a Hanson type selection, you think, more ball player than muscle, says Joshua Scott. Sorry. It'll be interesting to see how he fills out, how he goes over the next few years. Look, he is very clearly behind Sam Whitelock, Brody Retallick, Scott Barrett, Patrick Tuipulotu, Tupu Va'ai. That puts him down as Josh Lord as the sixth choice lock. So he is he's not a regular player. This will be part of a long-term future of developing players and getting him in that environment and seeing what he likes, seeing what he's like, and then also sending him back in with a whole bunch of work-ons, etc., back to Super Rugby. So look, this isn't we're not talking about a starting player here. We are talking about a player well down the rank, well down the list, who will be looking at growing on that one. Okay, pretty sure Nick Gill put some weight gain program on him. Yes, I'm sure that he will do. But interestingly enough, a couple of players listening to a podcast today from out of the UK, and actually Blood and Mud podcast, and they were talking about how both Manu Tuolangi and Jack Nowell have both actually trimmed off weight and feeling like they're better. So Jack Nowell, I think, has lost 10 kgs from his the weight he was playing at last season. So there is a bit of work, a bit of sort of perhaps a change of thoughts around some of how much weight does a player need to have. Is muscle always good? And the answer is not always. But those two are backs. Let's be honest, not forwards. So a bit different in that one. Just quickly talking on podcasts. During the November tour, I've set up collabs with I've gone blank as to the Attacking Scrum, who are a Welsh podcast, to do something ahead of the Welsh Test match, and Harping on Rugby, which is an Irish podcast, to do something with them ahead of the All Blacks Island Test. So ahead of those two tests, we'll have some views from the enemy, as it were, as part of as part of what we're doing. A number of other players are also heading out on the tour. including Sam Cane, unsurprisingly, which getting because remember that Ardy Surveyor was named as the captain for the Rugby Championship only, not beyond that one. So Sam Cane will be heading out. Also going out is Shannon Frizzell as well. Look, I'm not that one. I'm not so happy about. I think he still needs to get his off-field issues sorted out and out of the way. I'm not happy that he's back going on tour. I don't think he's needed from a numbers point of view. Joshua Scott says, "Look, selectors not happy with the Lucies in Australia." Perhaps there is that is true, but I do think that he should have been not necessarily banned, but at least left on home leave to sort out his issues and to show that he has learned from his mistakes and moving forwards. Also, Dane Coles will also be joining up with the squad as well. So, had a fourth hooker out there as part of the squad. So 5 extra players joining the squad for the European Tour as 2 players leave. So slightly grown, expanded. What do you call it? Squad. Aaron Smith not joining by the looks of things, and it always looks doubtful that he would be with his wife due in November to have their baby. There was talk that if the baby arrived early, then it was then there was a chance, but it was an outside chance on that one. Aaron says the loonies can't operate properly if your type 5 are ineffective, and I think he means Lucies rather than loonies, but we never know with Aaron what he might be meaning with that one. But no, he's very true. Look, it's all about combinations. It's not about individual players or individual groups on this one. So we will have to wait and see. But you're quite right. Look, it is how do the pack operate as a group, and I think one of the things, a lot of criticism around Akira Ioane in these last 2 Springbok tests, but his role is to play out wide, a bit like a Dane Coles does as well. And if the ball doesn't get to him out wide, then how's he supposed to show his worth? As Aaron says, Lucy's, loonies, all the same. Exactly. Yeah, they put their heads in places they should not go. So perhaps they are a bit loony. Look, join us for the Driving More show at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and we'll wrap up how we thought the Rugby Championship went. We'll have a look at some of the winners and losers for the All Blacks, and I'm sure we'll have some discussion around Ian Foster and his coaching. Has this been? Has he been a winner with his coaching, or has he been a loser, or are there still big question marks around whether he should be the All Blacks head coach? We'll have a chat about that on Tuesday, definitely. Simon Hughes mentions that there's rumours that Samoa Rugby might be pulling out of their November tour. Wow, I haven't seen that one. So obviously we'll keep an eye out for that, folks, and let you know how that all pans out. Clearly, a big focus for a lot of those players will be the Moana Pacifica and Super Rugby Pacific next year. And some of those players might be questioning whether they can get back into New Zealand from that tour. So maybe there's a few players that aren't through the MIQ, etc. So maybe there's a few players there that are having second thoughts about whether they want to go on that tour or not. We'll just we'll keep an eye out for that and try and let you know, folks, as to the situation, as to what we find out around that one. And you got, where am I going with this one? Sorry, folks, kind of lost my train of thought there. Fiji and Drua, obviously in Australia, so for them it's slightly different, or very different in the sort of availability of MIQ and that one. So we'll have to see. So I expect Fiji still to go ahead. We'll have to keep an eye out also for what Tonga may be up to as well, because obviously a bunch of their players will also be thinking about Super Rugby Pacific and how they get back, how they get into New Zealand to play for Moana Pacifica as well. So there we go, folks. That is everything I've got. As you can see, I've not had anyone join me today, but if you would like to come on these shows, then do drop me a line at Driving Maul on Twitter. My DMs are opening. If you want to DM me and say you'd like to come on these and have a chat, I'm more than happy to have you come on and have a chat about all of this. We're here to help you get through lockdown. Look, it's not easy. A lot of us are very stressed and had enough of COVID, let's be honest. And it's just here to try and keep you entertained and try and help you wind down at the end of your working day. So remove some of that stress as we go through all of this. So, folks, please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy, and please do follow the rules. And hopefully, we can come out of this as quickly as possible and get back to some form of normality. And clearly, we would, from a personal point of view, I would like counties Auckland and North Harbour to be involved in the NPC and Farah Palmer Cup. Well, obviously, Farah Palmer Cup, that's gone, but for more games for me to get to. But that's a very selfish point of view, and I understand that that isn't always possible. And unfortunately, I won't be getting to any games this weekend, but we will look and try and help you with that build up to that Ranfurly Shield with interviews, hopefully, video interviews, hopefully from both Hawke's Bay and Tasman. So look out for those over the coming days. Do become a supporter via patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio to help us do that, please. And stay safe. Catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. with 5 p.m. Lockdown Beers and Rugby Chat.